Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that they're all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming. You know, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
My body becomes like a cement. Oh my God.
That was the better one. The song
Okay. Oh my God. It's like magic. Literally like magic.
Yay!
Hello. This is Thursday because that's why I'm so happy. Because it's the Help Heal Humanity show.
Yes, it is. It's always so exciting, Barbara. I love that lead up. I love the music too. It gets us pumped and ready.
Oh, you don't know what you're in for, lady, because I'm already working on some other powerful ones.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
The beginning. So, Miss Serena, what you hear us? It's like she froze. I hope she didn't freeze. Oh, she did freeze.
There she is.
Yeah, I was just playing, but she really froze.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm going to apologize now. There is a massive storm. You'll probably see the lightning. And I live in the countryside. So between living in the countryside and this super bad storm, my reception might be a little bit horrible. But nonetheless, I'm super excited to see you and be here with both of you today. This is exciting.
Likewise.
Yes. So I want to say, and I'll hit where Serena comes in and out. We'll just work this thing. So for people that just chiming in, this is the Help Humanity show. We come on every Thursday, 9 p.m. sharp Eastern time. And this show is basically to really show, and I'm just going to be put the thing out here to show how Help Heal Humanity basically saves lives, basically. And I'm just saying that. I'm putting it out there. to the world. With that, people need to know that. So what we do, we give awareness, and this is what this show's about. And we were like, okay, we don't want to just be all about us. I mean, we have a little bit we can give to somebody. So the second half of the show, we spotlight other nonprofits because we thought about it. Everybody's trying to get to that same goal, and that's helping others and giving that hand to others. So I love how Serena and the board and Miss Alex here, she's part of the board, she's the president, basically agreed that we could do it this way. And I'm just so glad that, our hearts are open to everybody's hearts, so we can give that visibility and that awareness to people. And, also get some money. Yeah, I'm going to put that out there. Yeah. Donations are good.
And I think the most powerful relationships in life are really based off of heart connections. And think about it, whether it's a business that you're working for, or whether it's a friendship or anything that is heart aligned is going to be successful. So it's such a pleasure to be working with both of you and to be on this podcast. Barbara, thank you so much for setting this up for us. This is so fun and gives us the opportunity to work with other nonprofits that are also trying to bring service and healing to the world and find ways that we can help each other be successful together. So
yeah,
and
I thank you so much for just stepping up too, Alice, because I know you're going to give a little your backstory, but just what you bring to help heal humanity. And I know Serena knows it's over. She always thanks all of us, but I mean, when you get to thank each individual person like you and just say that you're just doing phenomenal work within the company and outside. I mean, this is not just, this is not your own life, but you put your heart and soul into the help humanity. And I just want to thank you for just being a newbie. And I know Serena is just like, yeah.
So, we want to thank you, Barbara. You are our newest superstar. We are so excited about you. And thank you so much. I mean, I think a lot of times in life when things are easy, one of the wisest things that people have said is if it's easy, it's meant to be. If it's not, if it's hard and you keep pushing, it's not meant to be. And it's okay to just let it go and just go where things are natural. So, and it has been a natural evolution, all three of us meeting each other and the rest of our board coming together through referrals and all walks of life, all different stories, completely different starts and completely different industries that brought us together. But ultimately, we're just normal people that want to help people, that look and say, how can I do that? Okay, let's join a team together and figure out how we can do that. And I think, that Serena did that and started this charity, and her story inspired us. And it really is a chain reaction of inspiring, like Barbara stepping up, let's do a podcast. People joining our board in the middle of global moves saying, I'll sign in, I'll dial into your call at 3 a.m. because it's important. These are the things that really do change lives if your heart is aligned, and it's easy to do that because you really care. So it's a lot of fun, and it's
a lot of fun. But, I will take a minute, like Alex, to really praise you for your work and for, again, the viewers who are watching. Alexandra is the president of Help Heal Humanity, and she is the main president for our charity, in all the countries that we work in. And so the amount of work that you do and the effort that you put in, the time and the energy, like that's immeasurable. And especially in today's times, and I think, anybody who watches, life is busy, and life just continuously seems to get busier and busier. And I think even when we think we got it figured out, it's like maybe we take on something else, or that just grows. And then when things grow, they acquire more attention. And so, Alex, you have, you've been with us for almost 2 years. You were there from the start and the launch of the USA board. And again, your time, your services, your connections, like you go all in, and, and right now we're working on some beautiful things in the USA, again, because of your connections, your heart and your spirit. So thank you. Thank you for being you. We love you.
Love you, girls. And I think, to anybody that's listening or thinking, gosh, I'd love to get involved, or I'd like to make my life more meaningful, or I'd like to use my skill sets, all this training I've acquired to something, there are opportunities like this every day, but for some reason, it stops a lot of people from actually kind of pulling the trigger and getting involved. And we're new to this, but again, we come together, and I think accountability and knowing, hey, this isn't my skill set, so we're going to empower somebody else to take the lead on this is crucial. Nonprofit work is hard. And I think that, we've realized that we ourselves as a board have learned a lot together. But it's all a learning experience. You get better, you can help others. It helps you meet other charities and network to find opportunities to help each other. So it's a lot of fun. And thank you. It's a pleasure working with both of you.
Yes, the dynamic trio right now, I think, and Barbara has so much energy. And I think, and everyone has different personalities, right? And so our board is made up of many different personalities, but I do know that Barbara and I have this like super extra positive energy. And, Alex, you're right there with us. Like, we're like everybody can be, it's a serious topic we're talking about. And, maybe for a minute, we can shed light on another catastrophe that is happening in Haiti. Because even when we're talking about serious matters, we still do this with like this love in our heart and this glow, and always, turning a negative into a positive. And so just before maybe we get into it, again, Christopher, I don't know what we call Christopher, our logistics manager, our go-to, our
hype man.
Yeah.
Our cheerman.
Our hype man. And this morning he sent me a text very early in the morning about, the Haitian Special Olympics team, which is in Florida right now, Fort Lauderdale. They've all been kidnapped. And, before we get into very hard, because of course, everybody knows, like, my background is in special education. So I've always loved being able to spotlight children with disabilities and recognize them for the great, unique talents that they have. And so the Special Olympics is really near and dear to my heart. And then, as we know, Haiti is very near and dear to our hearts, and Help Heal Humanity actually worked very, very, very closely with the Haitian Special Olympics back in 2018 and 19. It's all over our website. And so I've actually been following the Special Olympics, and I've been really excited because, again, Haiti actually ends up placing very well in these Special Olympic Games. And, I know some of the coaches. I've been on the training fields with them. And so I've been watching them play. And again, this is a very big deal because the Haitian Special Olympic team was able to keep their programming going. And they didn't have the funds to be able to send their athletes to the competition. So I know it was a very big deal that they got all the athletes and the team down to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, she's got the matrix going on.
Yeah, she does.
But go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was just, Serena, you came out a little bit towards the end there, but it is incredible. If anybody's following the news, what's going on in Haiti right now it's unimaginable. It's definitely a state of crisis that the country is in. It's under emergency levels all across the country. As everyone knows, or if you don't know, Serena was successful in starting our charity and building a school down in Haiti in Cité Soleil. In the past year, we've closed. Most of the schools in Haiti have closed. Ours is still running, which is incredible due to her connections and our connections with the locals, being able to ensure that it does stay open. That's so important to us, but lives are at stake. We're seeing a lot of that with the news down in Florida. A lot of people seeking asylum, a lot of refugees. It's a really terrible situation right now. Malnutrition's up 63%. And we've actually lost some of the children that are in our school programs due to malnutrition. So, as much fun as we have and as much as our hearts are aligned, ultimately there's big things happening behind these efforts. Serena, welcome back. I think she's back. Yeah, there she is. We lost you a little bit towards the end when you were talking about Fort Lauderdale, but I was just kind of filling in our audience about what's going on with Haiti.
Yeah, I was listening, and the only part that I want to say, 6 coaches of the Special Olympics have been kidnapped. All the Haitian team. I don't think you guys heard that properly. The Haitian team, the coaches, they've all been kidnapped, right? In Florida. So this is what I mean. Like even a special, very special occasion, something good in Haiti, it has turned into something really ugly again, right? Because now there's a big search out looking for those 6 members of the team who are responsible for the athletes. And the whole Haitian team is.
I don't know, because I know it's Serena. Now, do they know why that they kidnapped? I mean, that was crazy. What's the reason why they would even do that?
Well, it just happened.
What's the bad part about they're in U.S. land too, and they're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it just happened yesterday. The investigation is starting, but that's what I mean. Like, if there's any type of good or money or success in Haiti, there's always somebody watching out to do something to take it away, right? Which is why you need to be extremely, extremely wise in how we handle our business in Haiti. And as Alex was saying, we have an immediate group of Haitians, and they're all Haitians that are running our Haitian programs. And so I think that's what makes us successful, is really being in tune to the community, to the people, and having the Haitians represent our charity and represent the people, and it become all led by Haitian teams. So yeah, so I just wanted to, say prayers to Haiti in that circumstance, and then, shed light back on Alex and, all the amazing things that we're doing, how Alex got to the board, what she's been doing since she's on the board. So I'm going to let you guys take it away, and I'm not going to talk no more.
Oh, what? You are definitely talking some more. Yeah. This is what she does. She goes, and now it's yours, and I'm done. Go ahead.
I know. It's like, really, Serena? But anyway, yes, beautiful, Alex. Tell us how because I want to hear your little backstory. I mean, we got to hear a tad of it when you and Chris was on, but I want to hear more.
Oh, well, I think, and we'll come back to the $100,000 campaign, because I did want to make sure we talked about that today, especially with Serena's lead in there. So stay tuned to hear about what we're doing to change what's happening in Haiti right now. But just a little background. So I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. I live in a very divided city, socioeconomically, racially. It's a very charged, beautiful city, but it's also one of the most dangerous cities in the world. So, there's a lot that we see here that really makes you aware of safety. And, I can't imagine these countries that are in a far greater, more dangerous situation than we're in. It's unimaginable what some people are going through. So, I was interested in how can I help? How can I bring my skill sets to help people? My background is in corporate partnerships. I'd worked in property management, finding people homes in the apartment sector. And then I'd also, which was a trip, because people would say to me, Alex, I'm moving across the world, and it's Baltimore, and I've read the news, but all I know about Baltimore is The Wire on HBO. Like, is it really like that? So, it's a lot of interesting conversations, moving people into homes here. A lot of funny story. Property management is a very colorful industry. So I learned a lot with that. But then I moved over to corporate partnerships in DC, did a lot of software work and channel partnerships and making agreements between companies that could best serve each other from a mutually beneficial standpoint. At that point, decided, wow, I like this work, but I want to do something that's aligned with my heart. but I need some more training. Finished my MBA. I started a company with my mom. You may see some of the artwork and some of the merchandise behind me. My mom used to illustrate for the New York Times, and people actually used to draw clothes. It's crazy to think about. We now photograph clothes, but hand-drawn images of illustrations that would appear in the newspapers, and people would buy hats based on the illustration. So pretty cool childhood, seeing all this fun fashion merchandise come into the house, and see my mom stay up all night on deadline, painting these women for Nordstrom's, Lord & Taylor, a lot of big 13 top major department stores in the country. And was just really proud of her as a woman in business. And so we decided, when COVID hit, this is really hard on people's mental health. Art is healing, whether it's music, dancing, visual arts. And we thought, let's bring art out of the galleries and into the streets at an affordable price point. So that's where we started our company. And our company is called Sisu Moi. And there's a term in the military, it's called Sisu. And that means a strength to overcome. And so we started interviewing people that had this incredible perseverance. And through the grapevine of our connections, we had a Sisu story with one of our great friends, Viviana Puello. She was our first Sisu story as a woman that rose from homelessness to triumph as a Latin American woman. She started Art Tour International, has done amazing work with hundreds of artists all over the world in her publication that's distributed through Barnes & Noble. We're just really impressed by her story. And go ahead.
We need to have her on the podcast.
We do need to have her. We do. She's amazing. And she's also so heart aligned. She started a charity herself called Create for Peace in Colombia, and where she's bringing art and healing to communities. And selflessly in that interview, she said, "You think I have Sisu? You've got to meet Serena Bufalino, this amazing wild woman in Canada, building schools all over the world, and just a total badass. I'll just say it. That's what she said." And I said, "Yeah, I would love to meet her." Panda loves Serena too.
Who doesn't love Serena? Somebody's crazy if they don't.
I'm just going to hang out with you guys when I have a bad day. You always pump me up.
And you know what? That's what I just real quickly, Mrs. Now I'm gonna call you Miss Celebrity. You got a nickname for you from you. I mean, your mother and you and this whole, oh my God. See, that's why I like hearing these stories, because I didn't even know.
Thank you, Barbara. And my mom's name is Barbara too. And so you guys are soul sisters. But yeah, very proud of her. And we're a small family, and my dad, my mom, and I'm an only child. And we used to travel to art shows together, which was a ton of fun. And then we, really kind of pooled our talents together as a family to do this. And anyway, flash forward to our stories. Serena and I met about 2.5 years ago on Zoom during COVID. And she was in this beautiful cabin with a lake behind her that her friend had invited her to. And she was
our web designer.
Okay.
Yeah. So you all know him now.
In just this perfect Zen state when I met her. And we just instant, easy, fun connection. Loved hearing her story. And I'd shared some of in a previous role. And this is interesting for any companies listening. I used to put together corporate events for companies, and we realized that we're putting out a lot of money in happy hours and a lot of money in drinking events that weren't very experiential. They weren't really growth oriented, and attrition was up, retention was low, morale was low. And so we switched our team engagement programs from happy hours to service programs and giving back. So going as a team to feed the homeless in our local communities, or going to the suicide walk and, talking to people and saying like, wow, I've been through that too. And here's some of the resources that might help us, and just really forming deep connections through some deeper things than the normal work world. And, we saw incredible success and productivity, and I love that. But when we started our own thing, we didn't really have a chance to have that much of an outlet beyond personal work. So Serena asked me to get involved, and we learned a lot last year together. We started a board. There's a lot about compliance and registering states to be certified, to register our charity, to receive donations. There's a lot we learned. Had some, failures and had some successes, I think, with everything new. But we learned as a team, and, we also got really clear about what right looks like when it comes from a board recruitment standpoint, as well as a skill set standpoint. So, we're really just proud of our team. It's been really exciting to bring our other boards together and utilize each other's skill sets. And we're doing big things here now for the year. So it's exciting.
And I know we don't have that much time left, but one of the things that I'm super, super stoked about, and again, I always say this, like, we want to help youth, we want to engage youth, we want to, as you said, when you took your company and your employees out of the office and into the service world, it changed people, right? Because it gives you a different perspective. And then when you have that perspective, it shifts the way you think about your life, about your blessings, about your belongings, all of that. And so we at Help Heal Humanity, we really want to engage and inspire youth. And I had said that in our board meetings. And one of our wishes is coming true, thanks to you, Alex. We are launching our first ever Help Heal Humanity curriculum, and we are hosting a 2-week summer school league at Baltimore School, Garrison School, which happens to be your alumni. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that, and then maybe we're gonna
and then the campaign.
Yeah.
And then the campaign. Yeah. We got time.
Sure. I mean, again, I think people think, well, how do I get involved? And they kind of walk away without saying, I can get involved. I know people. I'm part of a network. My school, my church, my neighborhood association. Really just think about your network. So we're very lucky. A school that I went to, it's a very close to my heart, Garrison Forest School. It's a beautiful all-girls school in Maryland. They're very service oriented and they give back. And they're interested in helping in Baltimore. And so we're going to be launching a life skills program for 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of July. It's our kickoff Help Heal Humanity curriculum. Barbara, we already discussed it today. We have a big role for you that we haven't even had a chance to talk to you about in it, Missy. So we're pulling you in as another amazing, inspirational woman that has a story that also just believes in self and acts and gets it done. And that extra step is what makes change. And we really want to empower people to believe in themselves, to just take the risk. So we're very excited about that. And that's a program that we'd like to roll out to other schools. The goal is ultimately raising, pooling talent and skill sets and empowering young leaders to be inspired to help others. And through that work, finding ways to build donations to change the world. So in our case right now, we're working on a $100,000 campaign. And that's a feeding and education program for the school that Serena started and still is in session, which is incredible, which we mentioned earlier, and given everything that's going on. And we're looking for people that want to help send children to school, have a meal plan for them. So as we said, malnutrition is up 63%, and really give them a chance to rise out of these really, really horrific situations as global leaders to help inspire change and heal other communities like their own. So we will let you know all about the link. If you guys are interested in getting involved, please reach out to us. It's very exciting and such an opportunity to help. All your dollars, 100% of all donations go to our work. None of us are employed. This is all volunteer work. So, just know that as you consider.
And yeah, definitely, if anybody is listening, every dollar really adds up to change. And like if everyone just gave $2, $3, that can make a significant difference. And, just quickly, when we did open up our school in 2018, we welcomed 125 students. And we had these kids in our program for, 2018, 2019, 2020, and then 2021 with the pandemic, we had to cut that number in half. Right. And so the ultimate goal for September is to bring all the kids back, and not only bring them back with their tuition fees and their scholarship fees, but let's give them a meal program, because what is happening in Haiti right now is really a crisis. And it does take individuals such as us and people on the grounds representing Help Heal Humanity in Haiti to provide hope and change for, the future leaders. So please, yes, go to our website. Please donate, helphealhumanity.org. And stay tuned, because Alex is going to come back. We're going to be reporting about, the campaign. We're going to be reporting.
Uh-oh. She's in the Matrix again.
She would totally be Trinity in the Matrix. Can't you see her?
You're so right.
Jumping up and woo! That she's our wild woman that gets it all done. She's totally Trinity. Serena, we lost you there, but we said that you were in the Matrix and you were Trinity from the Matrix, and that's your new nickname.
You got a lot of nicknames,
yeah,
lady.
I can hear you the whole time. It's just you guys can't see me. But I think starting next week, I might have to do sleepovers. I might have to do sleepovers at my sister's and do it in the city. But yes, thank you, ladies. I know, Barbara, we have to move on to the next guest. Alex, we love you. We appreciate
love you, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, Miss Alice. And you know what? I was going to say the next, I think I have it. Yeah, I have it. The next promo that you'll see, you're going to hear a certain voice that you might be a little familiar with. Just really listen closely, all the viewers. Here we go.
Help Heal Humanity is an internationally registered charity mindfully designed to provide the world's most vulnerable communities with access to education, food, support, and love. We build the infrastructure, develop the programming, and foster the global connections necessary to support the charity and future of the people in our project countries. Through unconditional giving, Help Heal Humanity achieves its mission to inspire and love those in need in a compassionate and sustainable way. Our vision is to make conscious giving a widespread global practice through kindness and servitude. Get involved now and be part of our Help Heal Humanity family.
Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
Hello, and we're back. And I know you're probably saying, where is Serena? Well, this part of the show, we usually do one part where we talk about one of our HHH, which is Help Heal Humanity, either board members, volunteers, or anybody that's associated with us. We do that for the first half of the show. And then the second half, we decided, myself and Serena and the board, that we wanted to kind of spotlight, not kind of, but we do. We want to spotlight other nonprofits that really understand the sense of giving and helping the universe. So this second part, it was so wonderful. We had this wonderful lady, I always call the women queens, that is coming on that, with the schedule, sometimes when you're celebrities and you're doing a lot of stuff, the schedule gets kind of not the same time that we have to do our show. So we were able to catch her at an earlier time, which we're coming on now. That's why you see me, and I'm doing just a pre-recording of this wonderful queen. And I want you to know that she is the founder. Her name is Jennifer Ramnese. She is the founder and executive director of Rise. It's Rise Women, Inc., whose mission is to empower women to be ultimately versions of themselves, no matter what adversities they face. And when I read that mission, it resonated with me so much, because if you know me, I'm always talking about, I work with women. I always talk about their purpose, understanding and loving themselves and believing in themselves. And when I seen this mission alone, I knew I had to get Jennifer on the show under the Help Heal Humanity to discuss what she's doing for the world. The services that she offers for women are free counseling, free support groups, financial education, life coaching, women's empowerment events, and personal and professional development events. And also she could share her survivor story. Now, I wanted to say that because first when I was talking to her, and I'm going to bring up in a minute, usually when we get into conversations, sometimes we tend to forget what that particular person does and how important it is. So I said, let me say it at the beginning. She's going to mention it when we talk. So there's no reason why you wouldn't reach out to this foundation and know exactly what this nonprofit does. So I'm going to bring this lovely queen on. Hello, lady. How you doing, Jennifer?
Hello. Good. How are you? Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad that you're spotlighted on the show today. And thank you for taking the time out. I always have to think that, because you have so many, just what I read of what you're doing for the women. So much.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you for taking that time out.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So I want to start by, because I know I kind of read the mission of what you do, but I always tell people it's nice to hear that backstory, because I know there's something there that fueled that fire in you to say, I want to do this. I want this nonprofit. I want to flourish.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the lead on that, because I really want to hear that backstory.
All right. Well, thank you. So just to give you the background on the name, so the "and" means your story isn't over yet. There's more to tell. And the "rise" means rising above any adversities that you face. So there's a reason behind the logo.
I like that. That's creative.
Yeah. But further behind that, so I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, as well as sexual assault and domestic abuse. Went through a lot of really hard times. I became a single mom at the age of 21. And as soon as I told Dad I was pregnant, he took off. So I was on my own physically, financially, emotionally, mentally. It was really, really rough on me. And because I hadn't dealt with any of my trauma in the past, I was very angry, very resentful towards a lot of people. And I was just a lost soul. I'm sure you've heard of people, kind of just walking around the world and not really knowing why they're here, what my purpose is. And I just thought, well, this is my life. It's going to be hard. I'm going to keep, getting treated badly by men and by friendships and things like that. And I was $25,000 in credit card debt too, because of the, not getting the support from the dad. So I got myself into a lot of credit card debt. But fast forward till I think I started going back to college when I was in my mid-20s, and put myself through college as a single mom. I also, then got out of all that debt. And then I was able to start investing in real estate. And that's kind of how my entrepreneurial journey began. And I wanted to create a community for women where there was no cattiness, no jealousy, no gossiping or anything like that, because I had found myself in that situation. Actually, right before I started Rise, I had a big falling out with a group of friends. And I realized I was turning into this woman that I never wanted to be. And I was like, I want to create something that is opposite of that. And so that's actually how Rise got started. It was just, I wanted also to create something that I needed, when I was going through all my hard times when I was younger. So that's essentially how it got started. And yeah, it's been a great ride so far. We're only less than 3 years old, but definitely small but mighty.
Yes, I love how you said that, Jennifer. Small but mighty. Sometimes the smallest groups creates the bigger impact than the ones that are sometimes the larger groups. And your heart is there. I can tell the heart is there. So now, did you start it first, or did you have like maybe 2 or 3 people with you to say, okay, let's do this? Or was it like your baby first and you just flourished from that?
So I actually did start it with a partner, but we actually parted ways less than a year into it. And so this is my baby. I love Andrise with all my heart. I'm so incredibly passionate about it. And it's honestly based off of my story. We do the free counseling because I found that counseling was a huge, huge healing thing for me. And then the support groups have also been extremely therapeutic and healing for me personally. And I know it's helping a lot of women, and just all the services that we offer and the events that we do is based on like things that I think women would enjoy. And the bigger purpose why we do events is like, we want women to leave our events better than how they came in, whether that's them having a good time and feeling better. Maybe they had a bad day to start and then they came to our event, feel better, or they learned something valuable or took away something that they can use for the rest of their lives. I think that that's really important, that they walk away with something useful after coming to visit us.
Yeah, to have that wonderful experience, because like you said, you're dealing with women that basically not having that experience, or having a rough time in life. Now, going back to your story, I want to ask you, because I know, like you said, you started with your story at being a young teenager, having the child, and then the father left, and that happens to a lot of young women. I know I have a friend of mine. She had her, I call her my goddaughter. Now she's my goddaughter now, but she had her when we were, now I'm telling my age, 16. So at the age of 16, she was pregnant. But I'm just glad that her family kind of understood about it, and they helped her along the way. But I'm just thinking that, you being that young, dealing with all that, what made you decide to just say, you know what? Because, I always tell people you can always take 2 ways. You can take the way to say, you know what, this happened in my life, things are happening, but I'm gonna, move towards the right thing. Or, you know what, woe is me, I'm a victim, and I'm just gonna go through this cycle of life. So what just made you just that turning point?
That's a really good question. So I think it was after my last abusive relationship, it just really put a fire under me. And I was like, I really want to help women through this. Because to be honest with you, I didn't even know that that was abuse until I started Andrise. Funny story. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as emotional abuse or financial abuse. I only thought abuse was like black eyes and he's hitting you, and I didn't know that there was, manipulation tactics and narcissism and all of that stuff. So based on the things that I had been through, and I was actually in victim mode for a long time. Just to give you guys a little bit of more background, I was in victim mode for actually most of my life until I finally decided to accept my life for what it was. I didn't have the best childhood. And really having to swallow those pills that are really hard, like realizing that nobody forced me to be in these toxic relationships. I was picking these people myself, and really having to accept that and then move on and do better, and become very self-aware to realize what I was doing, why I was doing it, and then making different decisions, which is not an easy thing, especially if you grew up in an abusive household or you've been around abusive people for a long time. They start to look like everyone else, So that's essentially what happened with that.
Well, and see, that's why I asked the questions, because a lot of times people see people like right now, we see you have this wonderful organization, you're doing so well in your life, and you're just climbing up the ladder. But sometimes when they see us like this, they're like, oh, they just did that and they're good. They don't understand there was a journey. And it might have taken longer than what they even think it was. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I always tell people your stories give people hope, are the ones that are in the, are dealing with that. Like in the valley, I always say, maybe you're down in the valley right now. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being so open to sharing that.
I think it's important to share our stories. It's really important because you never know who needs to hear it.
Yeah. And I'm thinking now, just talking about stories and, Ann Rise, the nonprofit organization you have. Now, do you see a lot of women that come in that are, I mean, like you said, there's all different types of abuse. Like you said, you have the emotional, you have the physical part of it, you have the financial. And you mentioned financial. I'm glad you did that because some people don't think about that. Can you just give a little take on that?
Yeah, so I can give you my experience and also things that I know. So financial abuse can be somebody withholding your own money from you, or let's say there's only one breadwinner in the house and them withholding just any money from you, or giving you a small allowance, or not giving you enough to like live, not giving you enough to make sure you have groceries or anything like that. Or it can be literally stealing from you, stealing money out of your bank account, or opening credit cards or taking out loans in your name and just or in my personal experience, it was agreeing to pay certain bills or, whatever, half and half. And then the other person decides that they're not going to do it anymore. So then it all falls on you and puts you in a financial burden. That's why we offer financial education as well, based on my experience, because I don't think a lot of people know that financial abuse is a thing, first of all, because I didn't either. And then to let them know, if you are in that situation, here's what you can do to get out. Or if you're in a ton of debt, here's what I did to get out. I think it's really important to educate ourselves, especially women, on how to be like financially independent.
Yes, definitely. And like I said, I'm glad, because a lot of people, like you said, is not aware of that. And like you said, you weren't even aware of the emotional abuse that you have. I wasn't. See, that's why I feel like we're cross-pollinating here, because a lot of things that you went through, I have been through too, especially in relationship wise, and the narcissistic and all that craziness. And sometimes you be it for so long. Now, just let me ask you this question: you can be in a relationship so long that might think in your mind the norm. You might even think that might be the norm instead of the abnormal, until you have to walk outside and say, "Wait a minute, this is not normal." This is not normal at all. And I need to be treated better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So many people don't even know that they're in what we call an abusive relationship, and until they learn about it or they hear about it, or somebody like me is on a podcast and talking about it, and they're like, whoa.
Well, yeah, talking about your story. And then Arise, now, like you said, you give the women. Now, I was going to ask you, the women that come into the nonprofit, what is it, like all age groups, or is it some that are having abuse, and what kind of categories are there of the women?
We are all inclusive to all women, doesn't matter age, background, color, creed, or anything like that. We are also, friendly to non-binary and trans as well. But the women that do come in for the counseling services and for the support groups, I would say the age ranges are from like 27 to like 47, but it honestly ranges beyond that. We've had women younger than 27, and we've had women much older than 40, so it just really depends on somebody's need and them looking for help, basically. And that's the thing about abuse, is it doesn't see color, it doesn't see age, socioeconomic background. There's women that are in poverty level that come to our events, and there's women that make six figures and they're very successful that come and for our services. Yeah,
that's what I was I'm glad you said that, because I didn't, usually when you think of people coming in nonprofit, they're kind of, don't have any money, or lost somewhere. But people that are making the money and still dealing with that, see, there's all levels that deal with it.
Yep, very true. Yep. Abuse.
So I just wanted to bring up your website. First of all, it's a wonderful website.
Oh, thank you.
People know this is awesome, and to meet the founder here. And also, what I loved about it, seemed like you talked about offering the voiceless, and you're talking about the different nationalities, about finding support. So when the women come in, how do they, how are you responding to them? Because when they first come in, I know they're going through certain things. How do you take them in and kind of go through the process with them?
I guess it just depends on the service. So just so you know too, we do free counseling, and that's for anybody. You don't have to be a trauma survivor. If you just are in need of the service, we are open to doing that for you, because I don't think money or insurance should ever be the reason why people can't move forward with their emotional healing if they so choose to do so. So if anybody is looking for counseling, just message me directly or email me, and she'll put the email out below. just let me know that you're looking for counseling services, and then I'll walk you through the next steps. And then for support groups, you just go to right here where you see support groups. So you click on there. We have 3 per week. We do 1 in person on Mondays on the north side of Chicago, and then we do 2 virtual. So one is on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock virtual, and it's for domestic abuse survivors. And then our Thursday night is also virtual, and that's for just general trauma. So it could be sexual abuse, domestic, emotional. So yeah, and all you have to do is sign up, and those are free through Eventbrite.
Okay. Now, as far as your counseling, is it more? I know you have counseling for like the financial. Is it like just overall, or just certain niches of the counseling?
So counseling is like for mental health counseling.
Okay.
And yeah. And then the financial education, it's just basically special events that we do probably every quarter or so. Yeah, we do a lot of different events beyond like financial education.
This is good. So you got a variety. That's awesome. And I love how you have women's empowerment events.
I love, that's my favorite part. I love empowering women.
See, I told you we on the same page. Yeah, so loving this. So I'm looking at, everything that you offer to the women. And, do you think now with the life coaching, does that consider like, if they come in, they're basically nowhere to go, they're just like, okay, I don't know where else to go. I'm coming here for help. Do you kind of walk them through different lifestyles type of coaching?
So I call it life and trauma coaching. So I do work. It can be life, meaning anything in your life that you might need help with, whether that's your, professional career. Perhaps you're looking for something new, or maybe you're not sure where to go next. We're really big on goal setting and stuff like that. So if you struggle with that, or organization, things like that, we can help. Or if it's trauma related and working through healing, working through, I work with people through forgiveness and boundaries, acceptance of the things that have happened to us. Because a lot of the times people tend to downplay it or repress things because they just think if they repress it that it'll go away. And unfortunately, it does not work that way. It will come back. We work through self-love and self-care and integrity, which means just being honest about the things that have happened. And those are very not easy things to do, but they are possible. And I teach based on the things that I've done for my own healing and things that have worked for me, things that were really hard and very uncomfortable. But I always say that that's when you're growing, is when you're uncomfortable and when you're learning something new and doing things that are like, ooh, scary and stings. It doesn't feel good, but that's when you're growing, because you're like that caterpillar growing out of the cocoon and to be a beautiful butterfly.
Yes, awesome. Yes. So I wanted to also ask that you have where to share your story on the website. Is that for people that just want to just kind of just write out and say, this is what I'm going through, just like a survivor?
Yep, it's like survivor of any type. It's our platform in a safe space that is mostly read by women. And it's just an opportunity for you to speak your truth, because as trauma survivors, usually we're taught to keep things secret, or don't tell that, or don't say that, because, whatever, it might be a family secret or whoever's secret. And so there's a lot of power in speaking your truth and a lot of power in telling your story. It's very healing. And I actually just became public with my story about 3 years ago. And I was very terrified because I thought my family was going to all disown me, because my childhood sexual abuser was my dad. So I thought all my dad's side was going to like disown me and stop speaking to me, and my mom's side even, because this was the family secret. And I knew it in my heart that speaking my truth was something that I needed to do for myself and also for other people, because I know I'm helping them. So there's a lot of power, and people think there's not, but I promise you. And that's why the support groups are so helpful in healing, and speaking to a counselor is healing, because you're finally speaking your truth to people that aren't judging you and just supporting you. It really makes a tremendous difference in your recovery.
Wow, Jennifer, you are such a queen.
Thank you.
Such a queen. Oh, I love you. See, just deal. See, that's why I tell people, you go through the steps. And I love how you said, you just being the abuse, especially with your dad, that's like really heavy. Yeah. It's not only you got abused, but a parent, and to still deal with that and get through, life and stuff. That is amazing.
It was rough, but I've learned a lot along the way. And believe it or not, I've actually forgiven my dad for it. I choose not to have a relationship with him because that's my boundary. But
Definitely.
you can forgive people and not have a relationship with them. And the forgiveness, people always tell, well, not everybody, but some people are like, I'm not forgiving them. They don't deserve it. And they did this and that to me. And I'm like, but it's not for them. It's for you, because you're the one holding it in your heart. You're the one holding on to all that anger, sadness, whatever. And once you are able to let it go, you're free. You're not weighed down by it anymore. And that's the huge thing that I help my clients work through.
I'm so glad you said that, Jennifer, because I always tell people that too. It's not so much for them, it's more for you, because it's that healing that you're going through, and that, you just got to get it out of you, because when you keep it in, it just seeps in other areas of your life. And I tell people, you don't need that, because you got this baby that you just was born. Now it's a child. It's not a baby no more.
Right.
So you have to keep your mindset on that, and you got to let it go. But I know it was hard. I always tell people, I tell people all the time, it's not as easy. And I want people to know that, because some people just think like, oh, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
No, I'm letting you know. But you can do it.
Yeah.
You've done it. And you created this wonderful nonprofit organization for it. Now, another question. Now, these are not like, if women come to you, do you have somewhere they can stay for a while, or no? It's just basically getting all the tools that they need.
No, we don't right now, but I would love to do that one day. But that's like a far in the future. We're not there yet. But we do have partners with local nonprofits in the Chicago area. And even if you're not in the Chicago area, we always, if somebody from Wisconsin, for example, reaches out to me and says, hey, I need somewhere to go, I'll help them find resources, or like a women's shelter or wherever. But yeah, we do have partnerships here in Chicago with local nonprofits that have housing for women and their children.
Yeah, that's nice to see. This is what I'm talking about, making sure that you're, communicating with other nonprofits that you can help each other out in the areas that you might need.
Right.
Because it's all about helping the women, right? So you have all of your good things that you teach them with the coaching and the counseling, the events and stuff. And then you can have somewhere they say, well, if you need somewhere to stay, for a minute because of what you're going through, then you have another alternative. So that's good. I love the collaboration that's there.
Yeah. It's important.
Very
what we do.
Yeah, I'm telling you, definitely. And like I said, we bring, nonprofits on here because I've noticed, and I don't know about others, but I noticed there's not that many like, podcasts or something. There might be, I might be missing it, where they really, shine a light on the nonprofit organizations. And you do so much. And I feel like people don't see it, or they don't see it enough. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
The good things that are going on. It's all, all the bad stuff going on right now. There's so much good that we're missing out on. And this is one of the things that's wonderful. So Jennifer, I want to leave with, I want to just take myself down for like 30 seconds. And I want you to leave something, anything that resonates with you, with the audience, that I'll come back up and we can close out, and then make sure that they get a chance to know where they can contact you. So I'll be right back.
All right. So I just want everybody to know, you heard a little bit about my background and the things that I had been through. I have a much longer story than that, but this is a short podcast. So, but I just want to let you know that your trauma does not define you. So if you've been abused by someone, whether that's a parent or a romantic relationship, just know that your story, or that your trauma doesn't define you. It's just a part of your story, not your entire story. You can make your life to whatever you want it to be. You can be anything you want to be, even if it feels impossible. Once upon a time, I didn't think I'd ever graduate college, but I did as a single mom. I worked really, really hard and graduated actually during the pandemic in 2020. But that was something that took me 6-7 years. So I would tell people, if you have a dream, if there's something on your heart that keeps, coming up and it's there and it's pulling on your heartstrings, and you're like, I keep feeling this, like I should do it, but maybe people are discouraging you and telling you you're crazy, or it's a stupid idea, or don't waste your money. I always say, go for the crazy. I'm always for supporting the crazy, because sometimes it's those desires and those passions that bring us to what we're supposed to be doing. And everything that I've gone through has brought me here. And I am so very passionate about empowering women and the nonprofit and helping. So that's my message is, don't ever give up on your dreams, and keep working hard, and, follow those desires that your heart is showing you. So yeah, that's it.
Wonderful, lady. And I just make sure I have down where they can contact you, either by your email address or by the website. And I tell everybody out there, please go to Miss Jennifer's website. It is a wonderful information. If you know of any women or yourself, that needs this type of help, please, she is there for you. She is the founder, executive director, and she'll welcome you with open arms. As she came on our show, and we welcome her with open arms. And again, just reach out, and if you know somebody, please contact Jennifer. So Jennifer, I wanted just to also ask you too, if you ever have anything else moving forward, like any events coming up or anything, just let us know, and we can always come and bring you back on the show, and you can we can help you with that to get the word out to everybody.
Yeah, we always have events, and there is one actually coming up in August. It's called Healing Through Visual Expression. So we're going to actually be taking pictures of survivors, whatever it is that they want to do. Some people like journaling and things like that, but some people don't. So this is just a way to express yourself without having to write down words or speak about it. It's just visual. So whether that's, we're going to have body paint. You've seen some of the pictures where people have like a handprint on their mouth or whatever, and it's showing that they were silenced at one point. Maybe now you're not being silenced. We're going to have like props to show boundaries, or that the chains are being broken and things like that. So it's a really great event, and it's a fundraiser for us, but it's also for our community to to help them heal in a different way beyond like talk therapy and journaling.
Awesome. Well, definitely send me that information through email, and then I'll make sure I can put that under when we post this,
cool.
So they can have that. And then if they want to register or come, they'll be more than happy to do that. So we really want to make sure that we're there for you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you, Jennifer. It's been wonderful meeting you, coming on the show. We will keep in contact. That is not a one thing. And to make sure that you're always and rise. I love that, or what that means. Keep on doing that, and keep on helping the women that are in need out there. We truly support you, and we love what you're doing for the universe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.